Alright, good afternoon YouTube followers. I'm going to try to shoot this video again. I tried it once before, I got off on a tangent. So we'll try and shoot this once again. And I'll do a little bit of an in-depth video of this Consew 339RBL-25 double needle industrial sewing machine. Let me back up here. The thing is a brute. And I'll give it to you as an operator. I don't own the machine, I just operate the machine. And it is absolutely a wonderful machine. If you're looking for a double stitch, we don't really have any problems with this one. When I first started working here, this machine was off to the side, under cover, and I was told it didn't work. Which puzzled me because I learned to sew on a machine very similar to this, and they work great. So I don't know why why he was told it didn't work. And so I asked him if they had left-handed thread. And of course he thought I was trying to punk him. What do you mean the left-handed thread? And I explained to him that the way the bobbins work, that on one side you are twisting the thread up tighter, and on the other side you're unwinding the thread with conventional right-handed twist thread. Because everybody uses the right hand twist. That's just how, that's all thread is right hand twist. But you can get a left hand twist. If you run these machines very fast, you will unwind the thread on the left hand side. And it will cause it to snap. And an inexperienced operator will have no idea why the thread snapped. Now, you will, because this machine has very big bobbins. Let's bring you over here. My camera back together here. Because the machine has very big bobbins, and it still has to lasso. Every time it has to lasso that big ass bobbin. So it makes an incredibly large loop. And occasionally, with that big loop, you can, as you're walking forward with your foot and you're stepping forward, you can step into that loop and you can actually lasso the walking foot. And a lot of inexperienced operators will think that's what they're doing, is that they're, look at that, someone broke that right off of there because they were sure that's why they were breaking the left hand thread, was they were stepping and it was getting caught on the edge of the walking foot, so they just broke it off. But it kept doing it, so that was not what was wrong with it. There's another trick that you can, that we help it so that it won't do that. But the reason it was breaking thread is because they were using right-handed thread in the left-hand side. And on the bobbin it doesn't matter, but on the top, if you watch the way, see how the hooks spin opposite each other, as in accordance with the needle. Okay, so one would be winding the thread tighter and tighter, and the other would be unwinding the thread to the point where it's unraveled and it snaps. We don't have that problem because we use Tenara thread, the Tenara regular standard strength, and it's just a monofill. It's like fishing line, so it doesn't unwind. There is no twist. There's no right hand, left hand. But if you're using regular poly thread with one of these and you're sewing long straight runs and you're going very fast, you will need to put left-handed twist on the top side of the left thread. You can run standard right in the bobbins on both sides and on the right-hand needle. But on the left-hand needle top side, you have to run a left-handed thread. Other than that, it's just a wonderful machine. Gearboxes down here with a dipstick to make sure you keep them oiled up. About every 30 days, because I do use a lot of seam stick, just to hold things together so I can sew very fast. Every 30 days or so, we have the repairman come in, and he explodes the whole thing, pulls the basket out in hand, cleans all the gunk off the bottom of the basket on both sides, completely oils everything up and just gives it a full service. It drips oil for 3 days after he's done, but it sure sounds great when he's done. But that's just part of the, making sure that this thing is ready for whatever we can throw at it. We do a lot of double stitch for our enclosures, and this thing just eats it up, but we do maintain it. Everything else on it is pretty much standard. You always wind or thread the left hand first, then the right hand, because the left hand tension discs are just behind the right hand. But you can see that when you're threading the machine, how everything lines up. But wonderful machine. If you're thinking about getting a double needle, I would recommend it. I have enjoyed working on every one that I've ever got the pleasure to use. Well, look at that. That might work. Well, that might work indeed. Awesome. I'm going to make sure you can see this. Here's the trick that was shown to me, and it works because I really don't have the problem of lassoing the walking foot. Again, if we go back to somebody broke that ear off of there because they were sure they were lassoing the walking foot, and that's why they were breaking the left thread. So here's the trick to keep you from doing that, so you'll know whether or not you're doing that. And the machine sews great if you do this. It doesn't hurt at all, whether you're doing poly twist or if you're doing regular monofill like we are. It doesn't matter. So I'll show you here. We're going to do the left hand first. Let's come down here with the left hand thread, and I'll go through the final guide at the top of the needle bar, or excuse me, at the bottom of the needle bar. And then from there, I'm going to go around the back side of the needle. Like so. Is that showing up? Yeah, that kind of is. See how I went around the back side of the needle? And then I'll go through the eye. Hope that's showing up. I'll do the same thing with the right hand thread. We'll go through the final needle guide, or the final thread guide. Tie a knot in there. Through the final thread guide, and then outside and behind the needle. I'm going to come around the outside of the needle. Just one. And then go through and thread like you normally would. Hope that's showing up. Yeah, somewhat shows. And what that does, how it was explained to me, and it makes sense, is if you get an extra loop here before the stitch arm is starting to pull it tight, you've cleared the bobbin, we've already cleared, the thread has cleared the outside, and the stitch arm is just ready to start yanking things tight, and any loop made above the needle would be behind it, not in front of it. So that's why that trick works. Come down the final needle guide, go around the back sides, and then out through your eye. And any inadvertent loops made, any inadvertent loops of thread made in this area will not get caught in your walking foot. And then another trick, we can let the camera refocus here. It seems on this machine, always, you have to tie your tailings. The left-hand side especially will always pull them down in there and wind it up, and then you've got 10 minutes worth of jam to clean out. The way I tie is just to wrap them around the finger and then go through and, whoops, wrap them around and reach through and grab that and just pull it tight. And now all 4 strings are tied together, and it's easy for me to keep a hold of all 4 of them when I'm getting ready to start. Whoops, sorry. And then when I start, all 4 strings are right there, easy for me to grab a hold of. There you go. My couple little tips and tricks behind the needle. Keeps you from stepping in it. And then you don't have to destroy a perfectly good walking foot. So thanks for following along. I hope you found something useful in there.